Yes.
Do you think that in somewhere in his mind, do you think that was something that might run through his mind that he might want to do?
Probably. I'm sure some
would
advisors
think so.
have told him that.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think that's over with. It's done.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'm just saying it would be an interesting little thing to hear if the Cleveland fans maybe gave him a chance to listen to him for
They're not gonna listen.
2 minutes
No.
to explain himself.
No.
No, not really.
But I know
No,
that they
no.
won't.
Not now. Not in your first game back in Cleveland.
I
The
agree.
vitriol is going to be, I mean, just.
I
mean,
think
it
in
is.
all ultimacy, he will eventually regain their respect. Not
No.
not their heart, but their respect.
I don't think they have.
It's
Eventually.
It's
and I'm
over.
talking maybe 5 years after he's
If he
retired.
had won a title in Cleveland and did this, different story.
Exactly.
The fact that he walked out and left that team basically an under
Aye,
500
aye.
team because of him, they're never going to. I don't think he'll ever be
When
forgiven.
will the scars be really healed?
Has the Red Sox fans ever forgiven Wade Boggs for riding that horse around Yankee Stadium in '96 after winning the World Series? Never.
Well,
Never.
no, I mean it's
They forgave Bill Buckner, but that was a physical error. But they'll never forgive Wade Boggs. I bet you that's still. I bet that still eats at the heart of those fans.
yeah. Well, I mean
Maybe so, but you know what, though? I still have to think that Wade Boggs, he was the one who got kicked out by the Red Sox. He didn't leave the Red Sox on his own. The Red Sox didn't even want to bother
Yeah.
with him. They threw him
You're
out.
you're probably right there, but I still think that still eats at the souls of the Red Sox fans.
Yeah.
When they see Boggs riding around on the horse
Well,
at
that
Yankee
was
Stadium.
well, I think what Dan just said. He got the Red Sox kicked him out. I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was, I think that was just what he did right there was just pretty much something just stick it to the Red Sox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Because the Red Sox fans, they don't care now. Now it's David
But
Ortiz. But then it was Manny Ramirez.
the way it was all handled, I think LeBron's done in Cleveland for good.
No, he is.
I mean,
Well, I'm not saying that he's going
But
to ever come back to
as
the
far
Cavaliers.
as what the Heat is doing, you got to remember, Haslam and Miller haven't played yet this year.
okay,
Those are two key role players, Udonis Haslam and Mike Miller.
Uh-huh.
Miller is their Gallinari, their outside shooter who takes pressure off
Right.
their slash and dash
he
game
has
to the
not
hoop.
played yet this year.
Haslam is, and they have no presence inside. That's because Haslam is not playing. He might not play this year.
That doesn't make any sense. How they don't have any presence inside. They have Chris Bosh.
Bosh is a forward.
So
Bosh is not a defensive presence.
he's a 7-foot forward.
Bosh is like a David Lee with just a bit more athleticism.
True.
I think he's an overrated player. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not a great player.
He has the center size. That doesn't make any sense. He's got center size. How can he not be?
He thinks like a
an
forward,
ins-
though. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
There's no inside on the defense, and they get beaten on the boards every night. One thing I heard Chris Broussard of ESPN Radio say this morning,
Is an interesting case. That's all I know.
Chris Broussard said,
Yeah.
all things being considered, if you take a look at it now, and it's hindsight, when you look at what's going on around the league, and you look to see what the Knicks are doing right now with Gallinari and Fields, right, the kid that they drafted in the first round,
Right.
and also Wilson Chandler being the sixth man off the bench,
Yeah.
Yep.
and the way that Stoudemire and Felton are playing, you know, LeBron at times, and he's talked to LeBron. He says it. LeBron might be starting to second guess what he did, and maybe he should have gone to New York after
Now
all.
now remember,
New York is 10-9 without him.
I know.
Remember this. LeBron James has only signed a 3-year contract.
I know.
Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to go back to Miami. That means he after the 2013 season or whatever, whenever his final year is
That's right.
of the contract, okay, he might go to where he probably is most wanted to go in the first.
Oh, if you got Stoudemire and
about-
Carmelo still there,
think
let's
about-
assume that Carmelo's there, and
Listen, think about
then the Knicks still have to have money to sign him.
Think about what the Knicks might be in several years. They have the
I
money.
know.
You think perhaps a Chris Paul?
Yep.
Perhaps Carmelo?
Well, you're
Yep.
not gonna have all four. If you bring in Carmelo,
Think about it for a second.
I know.
if you bring in Carmelo and Chris Paul over the next 2 years, the Knicks will have the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Add in-
Felton is going to be here for a while. Gallinari, Chandler,
Yep.
Fields.
Yep.
You know, now
Gallinari,
you're talking about
Douglas,
team. Now you're talking about a team that goes
Tony
8
Douglas.
players deep. Tony Douglas. You're talking about a team that goes 8 players deep.
Yep.
Now, in all honesty,
Yeah.
what my prediction was when he signed that 3-year contract, okay?
You think he's going to go to New York in 3 years?
In 3 years. He's not going to go to New York, per se.
Brooklyn,
He's going to Brooklyn
maybe.
to play for the Nets.
If
or
the-
whatever they are.
if Well, then how about this? Whichever team pulls off the Melo trade.
Yeah.
Nets, Knicks.
Right.
He'll follow.
Yes.
Would he like to go to Brooklyn with Melo, or would he go to New York with Amari?
Listen, all I know is that
But
if
if
the-
Amari joins Melo joins Amari, that's